The end of all things is at hand. Therefore, be serious and discipline yourself. I want you to think for a minute about the anxiety I had when I first read this proper for this conference. Art of Resurrection. I had a moment of panic, but it got worse. How many of you are daily here? The majority. If you don't recognize this proper, it's one of the propers appointed for Ember Days. You remember Ember Days? Yes. At the last minute, we had to describe to our bishop the art of resurrection for the last 3 months. I discovered something, though. God has a way of equalizing the universe. All those moments I didn't spend preparing my everyday letters, I now have to read them. Art of Resurrection. The title of this conference tells us something. That while resurrection comes to us as a gift, it's not an easy gift. It requires some artful embracing. The end of all things is at hand. In the Greek, has that wonderful word, telos, which nobody can agree on the translation. So I chose to take Plato's use of that word. Telos is properly translated according to Plato, and actually a number of early Christian writers, as either completion or consummation, meaning that completion is at hand. In a very real way, the art of resurrection is the art of journeying to new life. God gives us a gift, but it's a gift that must be, first of all, embraced, but then secondly, developed. Those of you who know me fairly well, starting with Dan, know that I have a certain sense of impiousness. I have an image of Jesus on Easter morning. You'll remember that his first appearance was to the apostles in the upper room, where the doors were locked and the windows were shut. The gospel writers makes a point to tell us that, and yet Jesus somehow morphs through those walls and those doors and those windows into the room. New life. But I have a vision of Jesus in the tomb, leaning against the wall and falling through. He had to learn what it was to live the resurrected life. Why would Jesus be any different than us? You and I, some of us a short time ago, some of us a long time ago, entered into what I refer to as baptismal reality, the only alternate reality that makes a difference. We became children of God and inheritors of the kingdom of heaven. And whether we were old enough to know it, we were recognized as one of those was a child of the resurrection. New life was given to us. And ever since that baptismal moment, we have been journeying. If I had stopped at the first line of the letter to 1 Peter, I probably would have been disappointed. But take a look at what he says it means to be serious. His list is fairly short. Above all, maintain constant love for one another. For love covers a multitude of sins. Now, we've all used that line, haven't we? Not always in the best of ways. Be hospitable to one another without complaining. Actually, the word there is the same word used in the Old Testament for murmuring. Like good stewarding, the manifold grace of God. Serve one another. Whatever gift each of you, with whatever gift each of you has received. Whoever speaks must do so as one speaking the very words of God. Whoever serves must do so with the strength that God supplies, so that God may be glorified in all things through Jesus Christ. That's a fairly short list. But what it means to exercise the art. The writer of 1 Peter gives us a roadmap to what that new life is called for us to embrace. It's a simple life. Most of us, when we read that passage, would say it's a humble life, in the best sense of the word humble. Resurrection life isn't about the big blast. It's not about dressing up. It's easy for me to say, right? It's about being the servant of the servants. To be a Christian is, by definition, to be one who serves wherever one is. To live the new life which God has given us is to model our life on Jesus. Whoever would follow me must take up their cross. Whoever would follow me must take up their cross. It's very easy for us to forget that the path to resurrection has to go through the cross. An act of sacrifice. And I do want to remind you, I've been ordained for a long time. I've heard every piece of pious claptrap you could imagine. The gospel writers are very precise about what they said. What happens to you is not your cross. Taking up your cross is what you choose to sacrifice. What you're willing to give away is what new life is all about. Think about the model. Jesus, who had all authority in heaven and earth, gave it all. So there was nothing left but space for new life. Resurrection is not about what we get, but about what we give. The act of sacrifice is the act of norm for the Christian. No payoff, no return. Pure gift or grace. Whichever word you want to use, it all looks the same. And so as you go through the rest of this conference, you'll hear a lot more. Never forget that if you want to embrace this resurrected life that God has given to you as a free act of love, you have to be prepared to give it all away.